What is marketing? Many people confuse marketing with selling. In fact, marketing is really an ethos, a type of thinking that must flow throughout an organisation in order for it to be successful. In this short introduction, I'm going to discuss some of the key concepts that are essential to marketing, and at the end I'll give real-life examples from a business I have personal experience of having built. We can start by looking at marketing as a subset of organisational strategy. As such, it assists in meeting the objectives of an organisation by ensuring that products or services are sold to the right market at a price that will ensure a profit. To do this, in a business you must offer the right product to your target customers at a price that is acceptable to them based on their perception of value and at a cost that gives you a profit. This is what is known as the Customer Value Proposition, or CVP. It's the fundamental premise that underpins all marketing activities. Successful companies understand that in marketing their product or service, they are offering something of value to their customers at a price that is at least equal to the value of the product or service. That's the customer value proposition, but let's get back to our definition of marketing. Traditionally, a market was a physical place where buyers and sellers met to buy and sell products. Nowadays, market refers to different groups of customers or buyers. The sellers constitute the industry and the buyers constitute the market. Sellers and buyers are connected by 4 flows. The sellers send products or services as well as communications, for example advertisements, to the market. In return, they receive money and information, customer feedback or sales data for example. Most of the public see marketing as a combination of advertising and selling. This definition isn't correct. More accurate is the Chartered Institute of Marketing's definition, which describes marketing as getting the right goods to the right people in the right place at the right time at the right price with the right level of communication profitably. That's a pretty good definition, but the best one to my mind comes from management guru Peter Drucker. To paraphrase him, the aim of marketing is to make selling unnecessary. What he means is that you understand your customer well, and so you communicate the benefits of your product or service so well that the product or service sells itself. Rather than going to customers and trying to persuade them to buy your product, they find out about it and they come to you. Let's be clear. Marketing does not mean selling. Selling is all about making the sale. It's focused on the actual transition of exchanging the product or service for money. Marketing is all about understanding the customer so that you provide what's needed. A good analogy is that marketing is everything you do to make the phone ring, to get a potential customer to call to place an order with you. Selling is everything you do once you pick up the phone and answer. Let me also clarify some terminology. A product is a tangible item. For example, a hammer, a car, a shirt, a packet of rice. It's something that we can see or touch. A service is the provision of something that is intangible, such as financial advice, an air flight, an afternoon watching football. It's not something physical, but nevertheless we can experience it. A brand is simply a name used for a particular product or service or range of products or services. Whether you have a service, a product or both, marketing is about giving the customer what he or she wants. There are 4 key elements to this, known as the 4 Ps. First is product, the properties of your service. The issues to consider are benefits offered, the quality, the technical features, the branding and packaging. The second P is price, literally the monetary cost of your product or service. Price is used by customers to measure whether the benefits you offer are good value or not. The third P is place, namely where and how the product or service is made available, whether it's via a physical store or whether it's online, which intermediaries are involved, and so on. Finally, there is promotion, how you communicate this information to the customer, what form of advertising you use, how you employ your sales force. The way in which these four elements are blended together is known as the marketing mix, and in turn their integration supports the customer value proposition. Another important factor to understand is that marketing works in a continuous cycle. We can break this process down into three parts: planning and preparation, testing and trying out, reporting and reviewing. At the planning stage, for a new service, you might have an idea about who's going to buy it, where and at what price. You might then test out your hypothesis with a survey of potential customers, or you might actually sell some of your inventory as part of a trial. From doing this, you'll learn what will and won't work. For example, are the people who bought the product different to who you expected? Do they want extra features that you hadn't initially included? If so, do you need to change your approach? This is the reviewing stage, and your findings again feed back into planning. The whole process starts again. Having learned from your first attempt, this time you might promote your product in a different way to get better results. Now, I've given you a lot of theory so far, so let's put some of that into context by giving you an example of how all this works. Taking correctandpass.com as our example, the customer value proposition is quite simple. It's to enable international students to submit their university work in perfect English. We correct the English in the student's document so it receives a better grade than it would do otherwise. As a result, they pass. As a result, they graduate, and they can then go on to achieve their career goals. That's the value delivered. The target market is clear. It's international students studying in UK universities. The target is not anyone who speaks English as their first language. Likewise, if you're not studying in the UK, then Correct and Pass is not the best for you. Targeting a market is about being as specific as possible. What is it that's being sold? Well, it's about 90% service and 10% product. There is a tangible output, an electronic document which has been amended, but the service is what the customer is paying for. Looking at the marketing mix, the product is the proofreading of student papers. The price is £12.95 per 1,000 words. The place is via the website. Promotion is a more complicated one. There are lots of different methods used, including posters around university campuses, Google AdWords advertising, link exchanges, articles in university newspapers, the sponsorship of student bodies, and various different partnerships. Everything to create awareness of the service as well as create positive word of mouth. With regard to the marketing cycle, the plan and prepare, test and try out, review and report, I'll give a couple of examples. Firstly, pricing. I told you that it's £12.95 per 1,000 words. But in the past, different pricing models were used. There was a pay-as-you-go model, where the customer had an account they could top up with credit. Another model was an annual subscription fee, which was also trialled. Finally though, using feedback from customer satisfaction questionnaires and also sales data, it was determined that a simple price per word model was best, and that £12.95 was the optimum price in terms of an exchange of value for money. Another example of planning, testing and reviewing is how there were often inquiries from potential customers asking if they could have their work checked for plagiarism. Further research revealed that this would be worth adding on because customers perceived it as being valuable, and thus it was added to the service. And this is the message to take from this lecture. Marketing is the process of understanding what your customers want, providing them with what they want, and communicating the fact that it is available to them. This communication is central to all business success.